Hello everyone, nubkeks here, welcome back to Nub Raids. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how to build Tholin Foulbeard in Raid Shadow Legends. Apologies, we're doing this instead of the CVC stream today because I've got a vet appointment in just over an hour, so wouldn't have time to do a proper CVC stream. But yeah, Tholin, you've probably finished up the fusion. A lot of people, new players, getting him from promo codes as well. And yeah, it's the first CVC after we can get him, so this is when a lot of people will build him up. And of course, we have his souls up for grabs in the Demon Slayer Titan event as well, which will also impact your build, and you'll need to know the best things to put on him. He's popular so far too. From what I can see, he's got good ratings, people enjoying him who are using him. Let's give him the best build that we can. Personally, I'm actually not going to be building mine, but I can tell you how to do all the builds yourself. I just have so many damage dealers, I don't need him. We've got our infographic. This will be going out on social media. And if you come, I have a whole Tholin Champion Spotlight written on hellhades.com. So if you come to the Champion Spotlight, you'll find absolutely buckets of information. I'll cover the key stuff quicker in this video, but if you want the in-depth breakdown, you can check out this, which will include, of course, the Champion Spotlight. So let's go through, the key stuff. If we look at his kit, he is an AoE damage dealer with also massive single target damage against bosses. He's actually pretty straightforward to build. He's a typical crit DPS. So that means we come to his best stats. We want 100% crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and speed. I highly recommend simply using the optimizer. So the Hell Hades optimizer is a free tool. There's a premium mode, but you don't need that. I really recommend this. This is the easiest way to know, well, how do I combine my attack percent and crit damage? What's the perfect ratio? This will literally do everything for you. So I'm going to click this tag to put him to maximum level. We're going to optimize for damage mode. Presets we can ignore. We come to configure. You can set him up to have the correct masteries if you have not farmed up his masteries yet. You can choose to include equipped artifacts, artifacts from required sets. We're going to force him into sets. We can include stuff on locked champions. We can pick a battle. I'll optimize him for, let's say, Nightmare Hydra. Where's Nightmare Hydra? I think it's at the bottom. Hydra, I guess, doesn't really matter the rotation. We'll stick him in for Nightmare Hydra. And there we go. We'll come into this. Now, this is the only thing. It's going to automatically put him to 100% crit rate, and then it's going to figure out the best attack and crit damage ratio because, well, simple enough. Actually, we can even come into the battle if you want, and we could say that we have the increased attack buff. Great. And we could say the enemy has decreased defense and weakened debuffs. Because you're definitely going to be bringing those as well, and that can make things a little bit easier. If you've got increased crit rate buff, you can choose that, and it will build him with 70% crit rate instead, and so on. We'll go with these basic ones. Over here, I'm going to say I want him to be 220 speed, but you can choose the speed that fits you. I would say for a new player, even after a couple of weeks into the game, you probably want to be going for about 170 is the typical solid minimum that you want to aim for, even within the first month of the game. That's sort of your goal to push for. He doesn't need any accuracy because of his passive. His passive ability to just place weaken against bosses and minions anyway. He ignores resistance for that, which is great. So yeah, about that. For 220 then, pushing up into I'd say like that 200 for mid game, to probably 230 even for end game. If you do want to use them in like end game arena, I'd be looking for like 270, 280, even 300. But I wouldn't really recommend him for end game arena. He's not terrible, but there are better champions. Like if you're going to be investing your 300 speed gear, like by that point, if you've got that level of gear, you're probably better off putting that on someone like Carnage or Marius, So I'm going to go for, let's do 220. Well, let's go 230. Let's go 230. Why the heck not? We come into slots. Here, the most important stuff is to limit this. So we want to take out these, and you're going to leave in crit damage and crit rate. If you are later in the game, like for me, I would always take out crit rate. I'll only build with crit damage. But early game players, you might need to use crit rate gloves. So leave it in. If you're not sure, leave it in, and the optimizer will work it out. We'll take out all of this stuff. We'll leave him with just an attack percent chest. He can have speed or attack percent boots. Let it pick the best one. We want an attack banner. We want a crit damage necklace. We want an attack ring. You can override this if you want, but these are the best ones. Now, you can also, if you wish, you can set Ascensions. I'm not going to do that because I want him to just use whatever gear I actually have. For the sets, let's come over. There are a few different sets. The best ones, you essentially want sets that give you ignore defense. So what I would recommend generally is Merciless. Merciless set is going to give you the most ignore defense. It's going to give him the most damage. So let me see who has Merciless set. Thor will have Merciless set. It will give you some cooldown reduction, which is really good because his A2 is monstrously good. It will give you the most ignore defense possible, and you're good. That's great. I wouldn't really recommend Slayer, by the way. This is more of a Forge Pass set, so you probably don't have any. It will make your AoE skills do more, which is nice, but his A2 is where we really want the ignore defense, which is single target, so I wouldn't recommend that. Other good option, of course, would be, let me see, I mean, my Carnage gear, apart from the accuracy, would be pretty much what you'd be wanting. Lethal with 4-piece Lethal or 4-piece Savage. Savage is from Fire Knight, but it's just a worse version of Lethal, which is from Doom Tower. 4-piece Stone Skin, when you've got some accessories, that's really good for Arena. If you're not too worried about Arena, or if you don't have this, that's okay. You can also supplement with 2 pieces of Cruel, 2 pieces of Zeal, whatever you wish. Did I even mention? I did mention Zeal here. So yeah, basically sets that are giving you as much ignore defense as possible and as much damage as possible, with the note that Stone Skin should be used for Arena. So that's where we are with that. So fairly straightforward. What are we going to do? I'm going to force him into 6 pieces of Merciless. You could also leave no sets in, and you could say, just give me the most damage, and that can work as well. It will work out for you the best gear. Like if your gear sets aren't that good, if your gear's not that good, you can leave this out. It will obviously take a lot longer to sort through, but it will sort through all of your gear then and give you the best option. Glyphs, you can include glyphs if you want. You can customize it. I don't have too many glyphs lying around. I've been using them all up for Faction Wars Hard, so I'm not going to include any glyphs, but you could put it in if you're expecting to glyph them, and that will include some unglyphed gear and make it a bit more equitable. And yeah, we click optimize, we click go, and we leave it to do its magic. It's that simple. So let's come back in a minute after it's worked this out. Actually, while that is going, let me break down his A2, because I'm thinking ahead to the masteries and why this is so important. You have to understand, why are we building this ignore defense? Why is it so strong? And the answer is pretty simple. His A2 ignores 25% defense. Now, more importantly, against bosses and minions, he ignores 50% defense. Now, if we get him in at least Savage, or yeah, Savage would be the most accessible early set, you'll ignore 25%. Okay, so we start to add it up. If we have 50% against bosses, we add on another 25%. And then I'll break down his masteries in a second. But once you get him to Helm Smasher, you have a 50-50 shot to ignore another 25. So 50 from the baseline A2, 25 from Helm Smasher half the time, 25 from Lethal. Wow, we can get up to 100% ignore defense 50% of the time. The more ignore defense you have, the stronger it is. Basically, the way to explain it is defense has diminishing returns. So like the more defense you build, it starts giving you a little bit less damage reduction as you keep stacking and stacking and stacking. Like, you know, you can build 9,000 defense, but it's not going to give you absolutely insane damage reduction. It's sort of the curve peters off a little bit. But what that means is the more ignore defense you get, it just becomes ridiculously strong. So to make this move absolutely do destructive damage, we're going to ultimately want Savage, and we're going to ultimately want Helm Smasher as well. It's not going to work for you if you're in the first few months, and we'll talk about that in the masteries, but it will work when you're a bit further on. So we can, for example, come in here. I can see the build. Sorry, I've zoomed in too much. It's a bit of a mess. There we go. So this is the build that it is suggesting for me. He's coming out with 7,400 attack, 280 crit damage, 230 speed. Beautiful stuff. He'll even have 231 accuracy, so he'll even be placing his debuffs fairly consistently. Yes, we can see he's in the 6 pieces of Merciless. It's decided to put him in 3 pieces up top, 3 accessories. It's included, actually, look at this. Wow. For me, it's given him crit rate gloves. There you go. Here's me saying I didn't need them by leaving in crit rate gloves. The optimizers worked out. And again, you can obviously do this yourself manually if you want to, but unfortunately, AI overlords are here. You're never going to be as good when you've got, because I've got thousands of pieces of gear, right? I've got 1,000 pieces of unequipped gear right now. You're just never going to be as good at sorting through all of that as AI, unfortunately. But of course, do it yourself if you wish. You can see it's given him an attack percent chest. It's given him attack percent boots with some speed, like a pair of savage boots that are just really good. We might decide, we want to keep those savage boots for a full 4-piece savage build, whatever. But there you go. That's my Merciless build. Merciless will give us more consistency. Again, we'll talk about the relics in a second. But for example, if we give him, just to mention on the ignore defense, if he has 35% from Merciless set, he's got 50% baseline from this. If we then give him the Cat's Gaze, which is 16%, 10% plus another, this at level 4, a plus 12 Cat's Gaze, you will now ignore 100% defense on his A2 all the time, 100% of the time, without relying on Helm Smasher. And indeed, if we, in fact, if we come in then to Arena, and they're not a boss or a minion, so he's only ignoring 25%. Well, the 25 plus the 35 plus Cat's Gaze, then we add on the 25 from Helm Smasher, and we'll also be hitting 100% ignore defense, even against non-corrupted alliance enemies too, for he's just going to delete everyone. It's probably overkill. He'd probably just kill anyone anyway, but again, it's something that's worth noting and why that stuff's important. So here we go. We could click equip in game. It's not quite going to work because I've not fully leveled mine up. And yeah, he's only level 40. He's not ascended. He can't wear a banner because he's not ascended. Funny enough, it does, for whatever reason, the game does let you put on a necklace, even though he literally can't equip necklaces. I don't know why, but it does. But there you go. So there we go. We can equip it. We've got our build. We're locked in. Let's look at the rest of the stuff that we need to know over here. Let's cover his mastery. So we know his sets, we know the gear. Let's cover the masteries. Two big options. So if we come over to his actual champion page, which is also linked from that guide, and you can see a little blurb on him. You can see his ratings for every area and so on, what his skills actually do. Some recommended masteries. There's PvP. I think it's the same as his nuker. We've got general PvE and we've got nuker. Oh, sorry, I'm blocking the main difference. The main difference, the most important one, well, a couple of ones. You're going to get Life Drinker, which is going to heal you when you're low on life, which is pretty nice for clan boss fights in particular, early game. And then the other big difference is we're actually missing a mastery over here. You just grab him this one. I don't know. I'll ping YST and he'll fix it up. So that shouldn't be missing. But grab Cycle of Violence, which is going to reduce his cooldowns. He hits incredibly hard, so you definitely want that. War Master versus Helm Smasher. Let's actually look at this in game. So I've mentioned the effect of Helm Smasher and how that can really massively boost the damage of his A2 and obviously boost the damage of all of his skills. War Master is particularly good against bosses, and War Master doesn't depend on the quality of your gear. So what I would recommend is for a brand new player, start with War Master, especially if you don't have the gear sets with ignore defense, etc. If your gear is bad, you got him with a promo code, you've just started the game, I'd recommend running War Master for the first 2 or 3 months or so, and then you can do a mastery reset when your gear has really improved. You've got him into a good Savage set. Then you can start to switch him over to Helm Smasher. Basically, the difference is he needs to gain more damage from Helm Smasher than he would with War Master. You simply need good gear, right? If his gear's not very good, yeah. So I think you're going to be a few months into the game. I'd probably be looking at the place to swap would be Savage set, probably around 5,000 attack, probably around 200% crit damage. Probably above those stats is when it's going to get better and it's worth swapping over, or when you're near about there. And obviously Helm Smasher is a lot better for Arena. So I'll leave it up to you. You can try both. But when you start out, if he is a promo code champion, War Master will do a lot more. But I think I've explained in detail how good Helm Smasher is for this champion. It's definitely the way you want to go ultimately. For blessings and relics, you've got a few options here. So Nature's Wrath. This is your default blessing, but there's a couple of things to watch out for. This is going to give him damage every time he places a debuff. And he will be placing weaken, so it's really good, right? This will stack up for a ton of damage. And this is really good even at 1, even at 3-star. And then at 5-star, it's up to 15% more damage. This is amazing. This is going to be his best option for clan boss fights, particularly for Hydra. One thing you need to watch out for is that you do not run other champions who are placing the weaken as well. In fact, you just want to do that in general so that he can actually place the weaken debuff and he can stack this up. It is the only debuff he has, so he really needs to place this to start stacking this up. The fact that it can't be resisted, can't be resisted, though, makes it really, really strong. Another option, another general option is Soul Reap. Soul Reap is only really good, though, I would say, if you're getting his 5-star. At lower ranks, it's kind of just not worth it. This will execute enemies when they hit a HP threshold. This is going to be really strong for campaign, for arena, probably for faction wars, any of the shorter fights, even probably dungeon farming. Shorter fights where you don't have time to place a few weakens and to actually stack up Nature's Wrath. This will give you more burst damage, more upfront. And I think it's a really viable option as well. But I probably would only do it at 5-star. It's only really worth using at 5 or 6-star. So you need to be fairly invested. Lightning Cage is your more arena option. If you want, so Nature's Wrath for general PvE. Soul Reap for general PvE. Just in general, everywhere, Soul Reap is pretty good except for clan bosses, but only really at 5 or 6-star. The general option for arena will be Lightning Cage. This is it's really good even at 1-star. It's going to protect his buffs. This is particularly strong with Stone Skin. So when you have him with Stone Skin, if enemies buff up and they try to remove your Stone Skin, they have a 50-50 to remove Stone Skin. This will give you another 50-50 to protect Stone Skin. So now you're up to like, what, 25% chance only that they can actually remove your Stone Skin, which is really solid. It will do a bit of damage. It's not too important. It's mostly about protecting his buffs. And again, you've got bosses like Chimera can remove his buffs, so it's decently useful there as well. And then I think the final thing to note for the blessings, which is a big one, is Crushing Rend, only at 6-star. Below that, it's only the first hit each round, and then the first 2 hits each round. Now, when you get to 6-star, it's every hit. No conditions, just every hit, ignores defense. 1% for every 10 levels. This is going to be better, or it's going to be extremely strong, but only at 6-star against high-level enemies. So Faction Wars hard, Cursed City hard, etc. Hard clan bosses like Ultra Nightmare, whatever. This is exceptionally strong, but you need the 6-star soul. Don't take it if you don't have the 6-star soul. So probably you don't have that, so we can move on. But yeah, Crushing Rend is crazy good. For the relics, a few different options. Obviously, he's pretty straightforward, the relics. The ones that are upping your damage are the best. His best option is Stormcaller. This is insane. So if you're lucky enough to have Stormcaller, I don't, and you're lucky enough to have it up to level 6, have a 100% chance to get Stormcall whenever he lands a critical hit. He's got a double hitter AoE. So if you're against 5 enemies, like in Faction Wars or something, he will AoE, give himself 5 Stormcalls, and then he'll consume them all in the second hit for massive damage and a stun. It's going to be insane. If I had a Stormcaller, I'll be honest, I'd put it on Marius instead. But if you don't have Marius, obviously any player who's lucky enough to somehow get this early on, it is obviously ridiculously good on Tholin. But you might have stronger champs, but it's absolutely ridiculous on him. The event dungeon, again, if you pick up any of these mythical relics, both of these are ridiculously good on him. They're also ridiculously good on many other champions. Like you can use this for a speed champion. It's obviously insane on Tholin. Covetous' Passion is very good, but it's not quite so good against clan bosses. So if you're using Tholin for clan boss, the buff is going to be gone. He can't kill any enemies in clan boss. None of them die in clan boss. So you won't get the Shatter buff back. So this is great. Shatter, it's 15% more ignore defense. We know how good that is, but it's not good for clan bosses, but it's going to be ridiculous for dungeons, faction wars, arena, whatever. It's going to be insane on him. If you have the Cat's Gaze, this will give you just ignore defense always. That's a much better option for him for clan bosses. And it's basically sort of equal. It's probably not quite as good just because you got less gem slots. But yeah, they're both really, really good. You can't really go wrong. And yeah, then let's look at some more budget options. Your budget option is going to be, they're actually beside each other here, the Arethi Coronet. Whenever you place a debuff, you get damage. You don't need to put many ranks into it. If you get it up to like level 3, you need to place 10 debuffs total. So again, if you place an AoE weaken with his A1, that's 4 debuffs already against Hydra. Against a Faction Wars wave, that's 5 debuffs. The thing is half stacked almost immediately. It's going to give you lots of attack, which is nice. A couple of nice gem slots. This is your budget option. You don't need to rank it up much. It's just going to work and really boost his damage. Malefic Talon is your super budget option. It's just going to give you crit damage and a small chance for extra damage. It kind of sucks, but it's just it's basically a crit damage stat stick. It's just going to give him a bunch more crit damage. So that's your budget option. I think you get an Unholy Grail starting out. So if you're a brand new player, you can slap an Unholy Grail on him and it will do just fine. But any sort of relic, again, in the future, if they add more, anything that's just giving you more damage is going to work just fine. You want to give him stuff for damage. Ooh, we actually have a Faction Wars relic. Let's craft it right now. We can get an epic one or we can get a rare. Okay, we got a rare. Great. So there's that. And yeah, then finally, like his best areas. Number 1, couple of champions to combo with him. Because he's bringing AoE weaken, he's really strong with your top tier decreased defense champ. So like a Deacon Armstrong, you get him early game. AoE decreased defense, the Leech, so you can heal up. Turn meter control, this guy is absolutely bonkers. Obviously, for Hydra, you know, Ugo, probably the best epic decreased defense block buffs. She's going to be giving you healing. She has the Leech as well. Ugo plus Tholin, heck of a combo. Yeah, Michinaki, obviously from a legendary. He's a great legendary decreased defense with decreased attack. Hex as well. Some burns, great combo, that sort of thing. One nice thing about Tholin, much like Thor, because he self-buffs increased attack, you don't need increased attack on your team. Though do watch out for the Head of Mischief targeting you if you got some extra buffs. He is useful for Arena with the Ignore Unkillable, and Shield is really nice against enemies with Unkillable or Shield. And yeah, just AoE damage is great for like every dungeon for wave clearing. If we jump back to his overall ratings, actually, it's probably the quickest way to see this. He's really good basically for nearly all dungeons for just AoE damage, and he does massive boss damage with his A2. I didn't mention this, but we'll finish with this. Each hit decreasing the target's attack up to 25% is going to give you a lot of survivability against Demon Lord and Chimera, and it also will boost up his attack, which keeps him sort of relevant in those longer fights. And this just hits like a truck against Hydra and so on. So yeah, there you go. That's Tholin. It's hopefully everything that you need to know. I will link this stuff in the description so you can check out the full details. But we've walked you through the optimizer. We've walked you through this. We've got the infographic. You should be well set to build Tholin. Like I said, I sort of over-explained. He's actually relatively straightforward. You know, just crit damage dealer, and you don't need to build accuracy because his passive is ignore resistance is just really good. And yeah, he's versatile. There you go. That's it. Tholin Foulbeard. Hopefully it was helpful. Yeah, let us know any tips down below. Ooh, this is going to be... It's sad I'm not streaming this CVC because Plan B, we're up against the rank 18 clan in the game. What are we now? We're the rank 8 clan. We've got 10 ranks on them. Ooh, but it's going to be a spicy one. But yeah, hope you have a good CVC. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your Tholin if you're building him up. By the way, sneaky thing. If you want to do the event dungeon with Tholin, watch my guide and just take out, on the event dungeon, take out Aox and put in Tholin. That's how I did it. So, and I had him with no gear or anything. He's just there. So that's sadly the way to do this. The event dungeon is just ridiculously hard. So if you're trying to do stage 30, he doesn't need gear. Just put him in to that particular team. Watch my guide and you'll be fine. For stage 20 up to stage 25-ish, wherever it is, he's actually really good. So you can, yeah, stage 10 or higher. He's actually amazing at the event dungeon up to about stage 25, and then he falls off. So yeah, just don't bother for stage 30. Just use the cheese team. And for stage 10, he's really, really good for the event dungeon. He'll blitz it for the lower stages. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.